Defining intelligence. So what is intelligence? As I told you, we don't have one single definition. This is a combination of all whatever thoughts they have given, a huge big definition. So what does this say? Intelligence is not just being very smart, but has varied modules, which makes it one of the most difficult terms to describe in psychology. So what makes a person to be tagged as intelligent? So we'll see what makes a person to tell that, yeah, he is intelligent. Firstly, he should be able to use logical reasoning. So what do you mean by this logical reasoning? Give him some simple activities, okay? Maybe we'll start off with comparison between big and small, okay? Starting off with comparison with big and small for a small kid, okay? Depending on their age also, we are going to plan these activities. So big and small. If the child is not able to differentiate between the big and small, or if he is not able to differentiate between big, bigger, biggest, or small, smaller, smallest, and he is not able to reason it out logically, so that means it's a cause of concern. There might be a problem. We can't say only because of this, yeah, there is a problem. There might be a problem. Next, ability to read, write, and speak clearly. Next comes age appropriate ability to read, write, and speak clearly. This is again one more criteria. So by the age of say around 3 plus, the child should be able to speak, right? For some kids, they might take some more time to pick up the speaking skills. Right? And speak clearly. So this is again age appropriate, as I told. The child should be able to speak, read, and write. Writing may be beyond 5 plus or 5, that's fine. So but at least by the age of 5, the child should have that grip. Penmanship, what we call, or the tripod grip. The child should be able to have the tripod grip, and he should be able to scribble. At least the scribbling activity should be there. Then comes the tracing, right? So age appropriate, all these activities must be there. So if the child is having problem in any one of these steps, then you can think that, yeah, there might be some problem. You can't come to a conclusion, yeah, there is a problem, the child is mental, because once we say IQ down, matlab, mental karke hi bolta hai, right? That's a tag which you shouldn't say. Okay. Apart from that, behaviors in social situations. We are living in a society where we have to behave according to the social structure. Maybe in a class, you want to behave very decently. But when you go back home, you just throw your things here and there and all messed up, right? So some of the social situations, you behave in a way how you are supposed to behave. But if a child is not behaving in the way which has expected by the child in that particular situation, that is a cause of concern. Okay? Because IQ also depends, or the intelligence also depends on his social ability. How he is able to getting accustomed to his friends and the society. Clear? Then, one's performance in the school. When it comes to the school, grade repetitions, or he is not able to perform his activities which is supposed to be completed by that day, or homework or whatever it is. They'll have a lot of complaints from the school teacher that he is not completing this job, he is not doing this, he is not doing that, he is behind the other children, he is not able to cope up. One list of complaints will be getting from the school, right? So that, and self-questioning about when you are wrong. There are kids who might hit or who might trouble the other children. So, but even though you say them that, no, this is wrong, you're not supposed to do it, that self-questioning will not be there with the child. Though you're saying not to repeat the action, he or she repeatedly does the same. Okay? Because they can't introspect themselves. They can't judge whether they are doing right or wrong. They don't have that comparison. They can't judge themselves whether they're going in a correct path or not. Because no matter how much ever you are saying in the class, or even as a parent you are instructing the child, no, this is not good, you should not do this way, you should be a good child, because his IQ level is less, or there could be some other problem, the child is not able to understand your commands. Clear? Am I clear? Okay. Self-questioning, okay, finished. Ability to think and visualize outcome. So imagination is one part. So a child with normal IQ will have a very good imagination skills. That's what you try and bring out in a child, right? When you have a story session or a rhyme session. So you ask the child to imagine himself. Okay. So visualize, think and visualize the outcome. Some kids, because we did have this problem when that Shaktiman and all those serials were coming, a lot of people, including the children, even the elders, they disguised themselves as they thought that I am Shaktiman, I am this, I am Superman, and many of them tried jumping from the building and they lost their lives, right? They don't have that outcome thinking ability. So if I jump, that is not possible. 2 minutes, enjoy. So they can't judge about the outcome. It's going to harm me, or it's not going to harm me, right? So that way, so they'll not be able to think and visualize the outcome. So lastly, ability to solve problems, any sort of problems, simple mathematical skills, or simple even any problem, whatever you give, put him in a situation where he has to think and come out with an answer. The child will not be able to do it. Or even the simple mathematical skills also. Let it be addition or subtraction, because 2 plus 2, the child should be able to say by the age of 4 at least, right? So this child cannot be able to calculate that 2 plus 2 is 4. Clear? Am I clear? So it's very important, you need to understand all this. So coming to the definition, just one quick recap. So intelligence, as I told you, it does not have a single definition. So these are all the different criteria where we can say that the child or the person is intelligent. What are those? Ability to use logical reasoning, ability to read, write and speak clearly, behaviors in social situations, one's performance in the school, self-questioning about when you are wrong, ability to think and visualize outcome, and ability to solve problems. Okay? So this is again just an extension of it, whatever we have discussed. So intelligence, what they say is a conscious process that humans use to explain the different degrees of adaptive success in their behavior. Somebody told about adaptability now. Sheetal, right? Yeah. So what is this intelligence? It's a conscious process. You're not doing it in a subconscious mind, or you're not doing it in an unconscious state, right? You're doing it in a conscious mind. So it is the conscious process that humans use to explain the different degrees of adaptive success in their behavior. So how they are getting blended with that situation, how they are getting blended with that social circumstance. So that is what the intelligence is about. So here what we have seen is the mental abilities that enable one to adapt, to shape or select one's environment. This is another aspect of it. Apart from those which we have discussed, this is also holds good for the intelligence. So what is it? The mental ability that enable one to adapt or to shape or select one's environment. So as she was saying, the child was very comfortable in the house atmosphere, right? The same child who was doing good at home was not able to perform in the school. That means he is not able to adapt to the school environment. There is some problem maybe in the school, or maybe the child is not able to cope up with the syllabus. There can be a lot of different aspects in this. Got the point? Got it? Yeah. Next, the ability to judge, comprehend and reason. Judging, comprehending and reasoning. So what do you mean by this? Judging oneself. It is just almost an extension of the same what we have discussed. Judging oneself. Am I right or am I wrong? And comprehending to that situation. So maybe as in the school, if the child is not getting adapted to the school, he'll start with the awkward behaviors in the school. Correct? So he might start troubling the other child, or he might be a slow learner. There are a lot of variations in this again. Depends on the mood of the child. Got the point? Okay. Then ability to understand and deal with people, objects and symbols. Ability to understand and deal with people. So don't just keep the preschooler in the mind, can go a little beyond also. So where the child is not able to understand and deal with people. We also get confused many a times how to deal with that particular person. Right? Because you can't judge how a person is. So if I say this, she might feel bad. If I say that, that girl might, she might feel bad. Or she might even have a wrong reaction to whatever thoughts I am putting into. Right? So it becomes very difficult for the child to understand and deal with people, objects and symbols. Objects can be anything for that matter. So any sort of objects. So maybe if he is holding a glass, so the child should be able to understand if he throws the glass would break. But the child might not be able to comprehend to that, and he just throws the glass and the glass breaks. And he repeatedly does the same job. He is not able to deal with the objects or the symbols. Symbols here, the mathematical symbols. Maybe addition or subtraction or multiplication or division. They'll have confusions in the symbols. Clear? Then the ability to act purposefully, think rationally and deal effectively with the environment. So to act purposefully, think rationally and deal effectively with the environment. Do you think a child with an low IQ will have this? Will be able to do this? Some kids might be just all alone and a total an introvert child. He is not troubling others, but he is totally within himself. That is also not acceptable. Correct? He is socially isolated. There will be one more variant. Maybe he is a very hyperactive child, but that is also again not acceptable. A very, very hyperactive child where he needs some sort of help through medications to calm him down. Because there are different variations in this. There are kids who are very active. Being very active is different. Being hyperactive is different. Or being an ADHD is different. That is attention deficit hyperactive disorder. Okay. So the line of demarcation over here is very, very narrow. You can't even say that whether the child is an ADHD child or is an hyperactive child or unknowingly he is doing this. It's very, very less. Okay. It's very thin. You can't even differentiate. So for this, you can't tag a child as a very hyperactive child or an ADHD child. You should always to be on the safer side. Famous psychologist. So according to Stern, so he is a person, he has put forth a lot of theories. So on intelligence, he has told that intelligence is a general capacity of an individual consciously to adjust his thinking to new requirements. It is a general mental adaptability to new problems and conditions of life. When you put him into a new life totally altogether, where he is unaware of that environment or unaware of that situation, how the person is going to adapt himself to that environment. So that is what he says is intelligence. Got the point? Okay. So this is his view. Who? Stern, S-T-E-R-N, Stern. Next, there's one more person, Thorndike. You might have heard about him. I think Hema would have heard. Thorndike. So he says that intelligence is the power of good responses from the point of view of truth or fact. It's a good responses from the point of view of truth or fact. That means if there is a truth or if there is a fact, how the child is responding. So if he is responding in a feasible manner, then that means he is an intelligent child. Got the point? Got the point? Okay. You need to remember all this. Maybe one or two definitions at least. Then David Westlaw. So this is important. So the aggregate or global capacity of the individual to act purposefully, to think rationally, and to deal effectively with his environment. Here they're taking the child and his surroundings and the environment and how rationally he is dealing with the people and the environment. So if he is dealing normally, then that means the child or the person is intelligent. Means his IQ level is normal. Clear? Too much it's going like this or it's going somewhere to your head? Inside? Huh? How many of you is... It is not acceptable actually. So every time he does that or in some situation.
He make him to sit with others and do. After some time he will listen to what they are saying, but when we give work like lessons to do the thing, he will sit by himself and talk nothing and he will be keeping things and
No, but when
But
he
other
is
things
with the,
is fine.
when he is with the group, he is okay.
He doesn't interact much. Little he will interact, then again he's back to himself. He'll talk, something he will be talking.
He doesn't
and
have any other behaviors, right?
No, nothing.
Smiling at his...
Smiling, whatever we'll tell, he'll complete it, do. But usually after some time, he will sit, he will move behind. I don't know how, but he will simply move behind. And then he will talk by himself and start playing or something. If he has completed his work. Then again we have to call him, are you done? This much. He won't interact much. I'm done.
But he does everything normally.
Yeah, everything is normal. But he won't speak much, and after a little while...
Some children are little introvert, so they take some time to get adjusted to the environment. Just give him some time. Try and occupy him with when you have this.
And
in case we can
parents
plan
tell that this is the same case because he's the only child. He does this at home also.
So involve in some kind of activities. Maybe plan a storytelling session or plan a role play where he needs to mingle with other kids and do it. Just try that and see once.
Thank you.
But I don't think so there could be any problem. Some kids are a little bit introvert, but it shouldn't be too much. Like speaking to themselves and just laughing and giggling by themselves, or crying. So that shouldn't be there. So now coming to the measure of IQ. So fundamental concepts involved in intelligence and intelligence testing. So what is this? IQ. IQ is the intelligence quotient. It's given by formula. So what is this? Mental age by chronological age into 100. Clear? So what is that? We'll see. So what do you mean by chronological age? First let us see what is this chronological age. Chronology means at the time of test, when you're performing the test, what is the exact age of the child? Starting from years, months, days, hours. Like if I am performing say at 4 o'clock in the evening. So I need to calculate what is the child's exact age in years, months, days, hours from his birth time. Got the point? That is chronological age. What is this mental age? What do you mean by this mental age? Chronological age is very easy to find out. Okay, it's just a calculation. Mental age is the one which is little difficult to find out. To find out this mental age itself, we do have different tests where we administer to the child either individually or in a group. Individually in the sense, I am taking one-on-one. That means the therapist and the child one-on-one, they are performing the test. Or group test, matlab, I am taking the child in a group of the same chronological age or similar chronological age. Same, matlab, ours, it can't be same. So maybe if it is 8 years, same age group. Got the point? So that is a group test. So mental age we are going to find out by this administering a lot of different tests. So what is Binet and Simon? So what they said was they have used mental age to distinguish between bright from dull children. This is how you can differentiate that his IQ level is too high, his IQ level is low, or his IQ level is normal, or his IQ level is borderline, or it's average, or low average, or above average. Okay, how do we do it? So what this mental age refers is the maturity of the child's brain. How can you estimate that? Definitely you can't open up the brain and check what is there inside and then put it back and pack it. So that's not possible, right? So you're going to do that with lots of tests. So you're going to assess the maturity of the child. So they do have a generalization. So for example, if for an 8-year-old, they do have a generalized assessment. So on an average, an 8-year-old child must satisfy this. Okay? They will have a scale for each and every. They'll have a points for each and every test. And they're going to note down the points. We'll see like how they do it. 1 or 2 tests we'll see. Then they do a total calculation. That's how comes the mental age. To find out the IQ also we do have different tests. This is just of the Simon and Binet. So we do have Thorndike test also, we do have WP-SSI also, that is Wessler's Preschool Intelligence Scale also. We do have a lot of people who have given their test, and we do have our own Indian test also, which has been given by the Indian Council for Medical Research, ICMR. Okay? So when you go to the NIMHANS or when you go to any of the other places, they usually follow the standard one which is followed here in India. They don't go for this. And according to that test, they give the IQ level also. So you can't have a generalization, as I told you, that IQ level, yeah, 110, 120, this is a standard. It is not standard. Got the point what I'm trying to tell you? It can vary from the test to test. Clear? So now we are going to check the mental age of the child. That means how mature the child's brain is by giving him lot of activities, age appropriate activities. Okay? So now they have given an example here. So after finding this, after getting the mental age and comparing it with the chronological age, for example, if you've got an X value for mental age and you know the chronological age and you're going to multiply it by 100, this is just to have a percentage out of it. Okay? So after doing this, if you see that if the chronological age of the child is somewhere around 6 years, that means you administered a test for a 6-year-old child. Clear? Chronological age of a child is 6 years. But his mental age after the administering the test, we got somewhere the mental age was matching of 3 years old. Got the point? That means the child of age of 6 years was able to perform the test which was given for a 3-year-old child. He was not able to satisfy the score for a 6-year-old child. Got the point? Arthamaita illa? Aita? So that means the chronological age and the mental age is not matching. On an average, this child should have been somewhere near to this. Correct? Maybe a little bit below average or above average or whatever it is. He should have been near to this. But this child was able to perform the test which was designed for a 3-year-old child. he was not able to perform the one which was designed for 6-year-old. So that means his chronological age and mental age is not matching. That means though the child is 6-year-old, his brain has a maturity of only 3-year-old child. So that's the reason he is not able to grasp whatever you are saying, or whatever inputs you are giving, or whatever instructions you are giving to the child is not able to grasp it. Because his mental age is only 3 years. There might be one more variant in this. If another example, the chronological age of child is 6 years, but when we given the IQ test, his mental age was matching somewhere of 9 years. Matlab 6 years, bacha, he was able to do a 9-year-old child what he does. That means his IQ level is well above normal. Got the point? Yeah? So that means here the child is a gifted child. It's above normal. It might be a gifted child. So we call such kind of children as gifted children, where they have IQ more than his age. This one, it might be a slow learner, it might be any child. We usually call them as a special child or a special needs child, where he might not be able to accommodate, we might not be able to accommodate him a normal school environment, where he might require some special needs that we'll be seeing later. Okay, got the point, all of you? So this is the importance of this IQ. So we get the calculation by doing this. So mental age we are going to find out. We have different tests to find out the mental age, which we are going to discuss now. Next, something is called as this basal age. So what is this basal age? Basal age is that age of the child with reference to his chronological age, where he can solve all questions in a given test. The basal age helps in calculating the mental age of the child. That means the starting. So if he is able to solve the 6 years, that's the basal age of the child. So over and beyond that, he is able to solve it. That means his IQ is over and beyond that 6-year-old child. Got the point? So here, mental age we can calculate by basal age plus partial credits. The credits are given for each and every test. Just like how we have the scoring, the same way we have credits. Okay? So if he clears those credits plus partial credits, we keep on adding. So the basal age is the one which is calculated by the test, whatever he has got. I mean, if he is 6 years, but he is able to do a 5-year, that is the basal age of the child. Plus, he is able to perform the other parts of the function in the test. So plus the credits. Got it?